Unprecedented, yes, but not unexpected. Because, there is a vacuum in Kabul. You have a regime which is not recognized by the world, and yet it controls most of Afghanistan. It makes its own policies, does not listen to anyone, and there are policies like its attitude towards women. There are policies that most of the world disagrees with. So obviously, this international community sooner or later has to engage with them. Now, what happened was that I know that the United States and other Western powers, and I think as well as Saudi Arabia, were expecting Pakistan to have some sort of influence, not control, some sort of influence over the Taliban government, because they believed that Pakistan created an opportunity for them to sustain American pressure for 20 years, and that they had a place in Pakistan to hide, to go to hospitals, to buy food from, and everything. So sort of replenish their resources, and that is why they will listen to Pakistan. But it did not happen. Soon after they came into power, their relations with Pakistan started straining. One of the main reasons was that the Pakistani Taliban, who want to bring a Taliban type government in Pakistan, they have very good relations with Afghan Taliban, and it was only natural for them to demand from the Taliban to help them in bringing the Islamic system that they believe they believe in, that Islamic system, to help them and bring that Islamic system to Pakistan as well. And Taliban maybe not so openly, but quietly sympathize with them, because most of the Taliban, Afghan or Pakistani Taliban, they do believe in that system, and they think that this system should be implemented all over the Islamic world. And this is something we did not foresee. For some reason, we thought we'll be able to bring them into power, but that will not influence Pakistan. We'll be able to keep Pakistan away from Afghanistan and let them stay in their own country and bring whatever policies they want. That didn't happen. It strained our relations. And that created a vacuum, and that vacuum, first of all, was exploited by India. You might have noticed a story in the international media saying that the Taliban were sending their cadets to be trained in India. You see, there's an irony. It's a huge setback for Pakistan that Afghan Taliban fighters are now being trained in India, like the Afghan cadets were trained before the Taliban came into power by all sort of nationalist governments, the socialist governments, on all previous regimes in Afghanistan, where obviously had better relations with India than they did with Pakistan, and the same thing seemed to be happening there now. So now the international community was forced to reconsider its own policies towards Afghanistan, having realized that Pakistan cannot actually do what they expected Pakistan to do. So they are thinking of other approaches. And one of them is to engage the Taliban by sort of dangling. I mean, they're still dangling it. They haven't really taken a decision. Dangling the prospect of recognizing their regime. They said that they may discuss taking baby steps that would lead to a recognition. So what will happen on May 1, the UN Secretary General is holding a conference of Afghan envoys. I mean, especially envoys for Afghanistan, like Pakistan had one, has one, and the Americans do, and the Russians do, and India does, and all those countries. So they want to collect diplomats from across the globe in Doha on May 1 to consider or to deal with the Afghan situation. And there they will discuss the possibility of recognizing the Taliban regime with the Taliban leaders, who would also be attending this conference. And they are hoping that by doing so, they'll be able to influence the Taliban regime in Kabul. They'll be able to urge them to soften their attitude, say, for instance, towards women, for instance, towards women's education, and other issues. I mean, not allowing Afghanistan to become a staging ground for militant groups, having better relations with the West, having better relations with India, which is already happening. So I think that this is something perhaps we did not anticipate, but it is happening. And it had to happen because, as you know, no vacuum can, or let's put it this way, a vacuum can only exist for so long. And ultimately, when you create a vacuum somewhere, then air from all around moves in to fill the vacuum, fill the gap. So all the forces from the region and beyond the region are moving in to fill that gap that was created after the fall of Kabul to the Taliban.